Hello everyone, welcome back to another video where today we are going to be talking about Steven Moffat's recent quotes with regards to Doctor Who. Yep, there's more speculation surrounding the Moff and whether he's making his return or not, as well as we've had some couple of interesting details to do with Doctor Who finally making its way to Ireland, which I know is a huge thing for a lot of you guys, my Irish viewers. Obviously you guys have it live on BBC One, but Ireland, for those of you who are outside the UK, or Ireland who don't know, Ireland is in a weird state where BBC exists and you can watch it live, but because it's not part of the UK, Ireland's its own separate nation, it doesn't get BBC iPlayer. And it was very vague with the Disney Plus Doctor Who deal whether Ireland were going to get Doctor Who on streaming via Disney Plus or some other service. And we have our answer on that finally. As well, we're going to be talking about some interesting stuff to do with Doctor Who merchandise that could be coming out in the future. But before we get into that, do me a teeny tiny little favour, click that subscribe button. That'd be very much appreciated. Thank you all for all your support on my video returning yesterday. I greatly appreciate it. I wasn't expecting so many people to say how much they missed these, so I'm glad to be back and providing them as best as I can. But with that said, let's get into the video. I also want to say, I keep forgetting, brand new podcast, link in the description below. Go watch it, go subscribe if you're new, that'd be greatly appreciated over there as well. Wild Endeavour, it's my project that I'm trying to keep going, so subscribe over there as well, and let's get into this. Doctor Who's Steven Moffat on potential return. It's fine without me. We've got Ncuti there, we've got Russell there, it's all good. So I'll play the video clip that the Radio Times article is based on.
Look at my aging face, how could I fit in? And I know, because I've seen the feedback, that people think I'm being evasive on the subject. The truth is, if I say anything negative about Doctor Who, it goes everywhere, like boom, everywhere, right? Doesn't exactly bring joy to the world that I just say something negative about Doctor Who. The fact is, it's fine without me. We've got Russell there, we've got a bunch of new writers there, we've got Ncuti there. It's all good.
Ironically, he says he's evasive of the question in other interviews, and that that's not the case, and then he kind of continues to evade the question. Now, I saw some confusion surrounding what he meant by, oh, if I say anything negative about Doctor Who, it goes everywhere. And Steven Moffat later clarified this, but, and I know, it's so easy to go, Steven Moffat said it's fine without me, he's not coming back, he said he's not coming back multiple times. I still believe he is. Call me crazy, call me insane, I still think Steven Moffat is coming back. Whether it's for a one-off or in a smaller capacity, I'm not sure. I have a funny feeling Moffat's come back. There's been a few bits of evidence to suggest he has over time, and frankly, of course he wouldn't say he was coming back if he was, because they'd wait for an official announcement. So personally, I'm still not taking this as confirmation. I'm relatively confident that Moffat will come back at some point in the near future, whether that is for the rumoured Series 14 episode or indeed for a Series 15 episode. I believe Moffat will return inevitably and eventually. I think it's happening. I've heard way too many things to suggest that he has been involved in some way, so I still believe Moffat will make his return. I'm sticking my neck out there. I think Moffat's still coming back, and I think all of this is press speak, essentially. Of course, he can't say, I'm coming back, because they wouldn't want to reveal that yet, but I think he's coming back. But what was interesting about this is that people took his comments about him saying that if I say anything negative about Doctor Who, saying things like, oh, I'm not coming back, whatever, it'll automatically get misconstrued in a negative way, as in me saying, I'm not coming back because I think the show is terrible. And one such YouTuber made this exact mistake. I don't know this YouTuber very well. Their account's called Dennis, and they made a video saying, Doctor Who, does Steven Moffat agree the show is trash? And Stephen W. Moff, yep, this is the real Steven Moffat account for the Doctor Who lockdowns, responded, oh, for bleep, I was pointing out that if I explicitly say I'm not writing for the new show, someone will turn that into me being negative about it, which you just did. FWIW, I don't know what that's an abbreviation for. Love David, love Ncuti, love Russell, love the specials, all love from over here. So yeah, just completely nipping that in the bud right away. And this has been quite nice to see him just saying, no, there's no hate from my end for Russell, as if there would be anyway, because we know they are long lifetime pretty much collaborators. So this whole idea that other creatives involved in Doctor Who hate Doctor Who or what it's become or it's too woke, it's a nonsense. It doesn't exist. And I saw the same thing being used with the Christopher Eccleston discussion, where obviously if you haven't seen the clip, I'll play it now, where he said, oh, if I was to come back, you'd have to sack Julie Gardner, sack Russell T Davies, sack Jane Tranter.
What would have to happen for that to become a reality?
Sack Russell T Davies, sack Jane Tranter, sack Phil Collinson, sack Julie Gardner, and I'll come back. So can you arrange that?
And I've saw a lot of people use that as an example of, oh, he must hate the woke stuff going on. The thing is with Christopher Eccleston is the wounds for Russell T Davies and Christopher Eccleston evidently go way deeper than that. I'm not going to go into the whole fiasco that was Christopher Eccleston leaving Doctor Who, but safe to say that it goes a lot deeper than he has a petty obsession with politics. In fact, Christopher Eccleston is very much probably on the left side of the fence rather than he is the right. He's a staunch anti-monarchist. He recently did a shoot for The Big Issue, which is a charity magazine, which he holds with Shooty Gatwa on the front. This man is not against the idea of progressivism in Doctor Who, as I've seen some people claim. His issues with Russell T Davies and that production team go way beyond that from what I can tell. Again, I don't want to air all that dirty laundry here. There are videos that do a better job than that than I probably could do, and I don't think we'll ever fully know. But it's the same thing with Stephen Moffat here. The reframing of them saying, look, I'm not working on Doctor Who, as, oh, you must hate it, you must hate what it is, even when there's no evidence of that. And it just frustrates me because I think in Christopher Eccleston's case, a lot of the stuff he actually says on Doctor Who is a lot more interesting than the sort of simplified narrative that what some people want to push. And equally, Stephen Moffat, I mean, he's an interesting guy in and of himself, and what he says in and of himself. And even here, if you look at what he says, if I explicitly say I'm not writing for the new show, people will turn that into me being negative about it. So even here, he's kind of backpedaling and being like, I'm not being explicit about it, which again implies to me that there is some sort of indication that he may be writing for the future. I think he is. But anyway, that's just that. I just wanted to point that out because I've seen a lot of people kind of using stuff like this as a means to go, they must hate progressivism and they must hate all this woke stuff. It's just not true. It's not true. In fact, in Stephen Moffat's case, a lot of people talk about the change of race or gender of the Doctors. Those two aspects were introduced in his era. Hellbent was the first change between race, between Time Lords during regeneration, and obviously, we had what's his name? In The Doctor's Wife, they mention a Time Lord who changed gender, who kept a tattoo. I can't remember their name now. Was it the Castellan or something like that, I think? And we also had Missy as well, which is the more prominent example. So yeah, be wary of where you're getting your information from is what I would say. But that's all I wanted to say on this. In positive news, though, Doctor Who has finally made it to Ireland via streaming services. Obviously, you can watch it on BBC Live, but after that, they don't have it on iPlayer or Disney+. It is now making its way over to RTE, which I believe is like one of Ireland's key streaming services. So this is a really, really good piece of news. And yeah, I'm really glad for Irish fans who can finally watch these new specials, after their broadcast. Obviously, I suppose you could record them if you've got one of those smart boxes, but it's still good to have a streaming option for Irish fans who do not have that. And I'm glad this has been resolved, and I'm hoping that for season 1, or Series 14, whatever you want to call it, I keep flip-flopping between the two, this will be resolved. Finally, though, we've had a listing for the 14th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver on Argos. Now, this is interesting because obviously the 14th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver, the standard release, has been around for a while, but what's interesting about this is that this is the first retail store outside of, things like Forbidden Planet and like comic book shops and stuff like that are listing Doctor Who toys again. Before this, it's been a lot of character online exclusives in recent years, and that's because, to put it bluntly, there's not been a lot of demand for Doctor Who toys from retailers due to be completely honest, the dwindling results of the previous era. That's not me slating anyone who made the era, it's just an objective fact that the interest in the brand did deteriorate over that time. So this is the first time in a while I've seen a product being launched on a mainstream shop again. So this is a very, very good sign, and also what's interesting about this as well is that the 14th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver was at the Toy Fair, where we saw those prototype figures, which I actually talk about in full on my podcast, so go check that out. But yeah, very, very glad to see that more retailers are beginning to take interest in Doctor Who again, rebuilding that relationship. Hopefully, when it comes to season 1, we'll be seeing more merchandise, and I'm very much looking forward to that. But that about wraps up this video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to give it a like, comment down below your thoughts, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you later.